Isis Ice Young, welcome to the Sport Profile.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Me too. I'm super excited for this. We were just talking about how far we really go back,
Yes,
and isn't it just fun how small the media world is?
I know. It's tiny.
Everybody seems to know everybody, and seems to know different connections and things like that, which is something I'm very curious about, for asking you, what made you want to get into broadcasting originally? Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you studied that in college initially.
Yeah, great question. So, yes, to start school, I did not study that. My dad was an attorney, and so wanted to be an attorney, and kind of like the public speaking thing really interested me.
Sure.
And then, yeah, once I got into college, I just was taking public speaking classes, and I'm really enjoying it. And so every semester, I'm like, hey, I want the next level of public speaking. So
Hmm.
I had gotten to like the third level of a public speaking class by like my sophomore year.
Wow.
And and then I had discovered like, okay, communications. I think
Sure.
communications is more of my thing. Like maybe I can find a company that's gonna pay me to travel all across the world and, speak and give talks or whatever else.
Well, who
And
wouldn't love
so
that?
right, exactly, exactly. And then, I transferred and went to Syracuse, and when I went to Cuse, they're I'm on the visit, and they're asking me what I'm interested in. I'm like, public speaking, and they said, "Well, if you really like to talk, like, we have the best, sports
Yeah.
broadcasting program in the country here if you're
Right.
interested." And so I'm like, "Oh, wow." Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, wow." I had never heard of Newhouse before I went there. I had no idea. And
Hmm.
so I'm like, "Okay," and I'm thinking about it, and my dad immediately, like, I'm as we're leaving the visit, he's like, "That's what you're gonna do." And he, like,
Really?
just saw it. He was like, "I think that is the alignment." And so I ended up going to Cuse, and I really made it a basketball decision, but I knew that I was
Sure.
gonna get a good education at Syracuse, so, like, I knew I was
Of
gonna be
course.
fine. But yeah, once I discovered my love for it in my junior year, and then the first person I interviewed was my teammate and my roommate, and I
Hmm.
got her up on a Saturday and brought her on the court. Like I knew it was for me. I knew it was going to make all the difference. And then getting into the Newhouse program, being the first women's basketball player to do that,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of solidified like, this is a love I found, which was really cool because up until that point, like I was, 20, 21 years old, and the only love that I really experienced was family and basketball,
Yeah.
and friends. And so it was really cool to find another thing that I could hone in on.
You said a few very interesting things in there that I kind of want to pick at.
Yeah.
One was you were an active basketball player, majoring in communications and sports media. That's something you don't even hear about that often, where an active student athlete is doing that.
Yeah.
Second, you just articulated that you were getting up interviewing your roommates,
Yes.
who was also your teammate, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Do you think that dynamic was different than you just interviewing a regular athlete, whereas it was your teammate?
Yeah. That's a good question you asked, Dylan, because, it actually makes me think of my comfortability now interviewing athletes,
Mm-hmm.
athletes that either I have played against or I've covered for a long time or I've
Yeah.
known before they became a WNBA player, etcetera. And so, like, most recently, I've covered Unrivaled, and if you watch
Right.
Unrivaled, I work on the sideline, and we do the bench interviews with athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm recently doing a bench interview with, Natasha Cloud. And
Of
T
course.
Cloud, played at St. Joe's in Philly. The coach that coached her is still there. I literally have their game this weekend.
Yeah.
I've known T Cloud for years and years, and every time I see her, it's all love. And so
Of course.
before the bench interview happens, mid game, her team is fighting to win. She's like, "Oh, what's up, Ice?" and gives me a hug. And then we sit down and we do the interview. And I
Mid-game.
think back to, yeah, being comfortable like interviewing my
Yeah.
athletes and just the relationship, that you can have with athletes to teammates. And I think that's what the game of basketball brings. It's like whether
100%.
you're on the broadcast side or on the court, there's a teammate. There's a relationship to it. There's a team aspect to it. And
Yeah.
so it's being really cool, like to obviously get to know these women and to cover them, but build relationships with athletes to where I feel like I'm being a good teammate, by saying hi to Tosh, sitting down, asking her two really good, thoughtful questions on the
Yeah.
bench and getting her information. It's interesting that you mentioned that because I think the comfortability I have in doing those comes from talking to my teammates.
That's really interesting too, because, you know, for your teammate you described in that situation, they're thinking of you as one, your teammate, but two, as a person who's interviewing them. They're not like if a regular reporter was interviewing them, they would not be thinking that'd be a totally different dynamic.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
Totally.
which is interesting too, because that it's a perspective that you have that one, not many people do. How have your own interview experiences played a role in how you interview athletes today? Like
Mm.
when you were getting interviewed as a player, does that play a role in your approach and your interview philosophy with the people you are covering now?
Yeah, certainly. I certainly think that with the reporters that I had closer relationships with or better relationships with, they would ask tougher questions because they
Sure.
knew that I would be able to, dissect, give the information, be honest, right? Hold
Right.
my team or myself accountable. And so that's what I remember, I think, from like my last year of college basketball, playing at Siena, leading the league like in scoring, and just remember getting
Yeah, I
some of those
remember.
questions about, yeah. Getting some of those questions about, our team and what we needed to do to win and,
Yeah,
playing back to backs. And so I think, building relationships again is always going to be so important. I also too believe like really asking thoughtful questions, not
sure.
just the how do you feel. Sometimes there are moments in which we just need to ask people,
I
hey,
hate that
how do you feel?
question.
You just made this 75-foot shot, like how do you feel? But otherwise, sometimes we don't need to do that. Sometimes
Yeah,
we, need to ask more provoking questions that shows that we've done the research and really want to get this information out of this player. And so I definitely know from my college years and playing overseas, like when people ask good questions, you take note because you can tell they put some thought into doing their job. And so I think I try to be the same way and just
sure.
asking again thoughtful questions.
What what were some of your best interview interactions, I guess, from your
Mm,
playing days? Are there
yeah,
any ones that, like, stick out to you? Maybe a particular question somebody asked, or, I'm not asking for, like, you to recount an entire interview, but maybe was there something
yeah.
somebody asked that just made you feel that level of comfort, and for you as a player, say, "Oh, man, this person knows their stuff."
That's a good question. Yeah, I would say like nothing specifically comes to
Sure.
mind. I know one of the, I think last interviews I did, like college wise, we were in the MAC tournament, and so we had won our first round game versus Niagara, and I
Mhm.
had a camera interview in which I had a headset on and the camera's far away, right? And so
Sure.
you're not talking to anyone. There's no sideline reporter.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like I just remember thinking this was after I had done a year at Syracuse and, like, a year at Fordham getting a media management master's, like, "Okay,
Yeah.
well, sit up straight, act like you have studied broadcasting because, like, you're now on TV," and
Yeah.
it was still really cool to experience the other side of that while I was still obviously playing, but I think they asked about, like, the way that we came out in the game and kind of, like, our
Okay.
explosiveness and how we started, and, it was a point of emphasis for our team that day, like,
Sure.
I can still remember my answer, like, in the interview, it was still a point of emphasis for us to punch first, and so it
Hmm.
gave me an opportunity to talk about our team and our team motto, and now that I do media training and I teach athletes how to do these interviews,
Yeah.
anytime you can talk about your team motto and what, your coach's message was to the team that got you guys on one accord, you should share. The
Sure.
audience loves to hear that, and so, yeah, I think that's something that sticks out.
Where does your passion for that media training come from? I mean, you have your own company right now, and you're doing amazing work that
Thank you.
often doesn't happen at the mid-major level
Mm,
to or, like, as in depth as I'm sure you know at, like, a high major school.
yeah.
So why are you so passionate about that kinda training
Yeah,
and
media
education?
training. Yeah, I was about to say because that's what it is, right? It's education and it's empowerment.
Totally.
I truly believe that some of the opportunities I was afforded before I ever worked on camera came because of how I can talk and present myself and how I
Sure.
can articulate my thoughts and feelings. And so people pay attention when you sound like you know what you're talking about. That is the world we live in. And so
Yeah.
I think giving athletes the opportunity that, hey, you have this amazing ability on the court in which it doesn't require you to say one word. But now let's transition that amazing ability to your mind and to your IQ and to your personality. And let's show that to others when they want to know more about this amazing ability you possess. And so I think
Mm,
also in the world of NIL, it's a missed opportunity. Like I started media training in 2022. And so
right.
it was starting to be a missed opportunity for some of these athletes to not have media training and know that they're going to go play at the, University of Texas and represent the Longhorns and be in the
Yeah.
Final Four, right? Like I think that's probably our highest level client has been Texas women's basketball, right? And
Wow.
Rory Harmon's doing an interview at the Final Four, and she starts her interview by saying, "Let me take a breather, guys." And
Mm,
then takes a breather and then delivers her message. And I literally screamed because I was like, that's what we teach. Like, that's what we teach. We literally teach take a breath before you answer so you can collect your thoughts. And so it's about helping these athletes maximize those moments. And then the next level of it is getting athletes confident and mature enough to want to show their personality, want to show who they are to the media,
yeah.
because we also want to dive more into that. I tell everyone before I teach, media training, I say I developed this program as both an athlete that understands the side of the camera that you're on
Right.
and as a broadcaster that understands the other side of the camera and what the media is trying to get from you. And I blended those two things, but I'm 100% for athlete empowerment in this day and age. And so that's what
Totally.
I'm trying to do. And that's why I think my training has been successful. I think athletes afterwards feel like they can get their thoughts together quickly. They can articulate what they want to say. They can say what they actually want to say and find a respectful way to say it.
Right.
And they know the difference between a tough, challenging question and a anger provoking question from the media, and they know
Mm,
how to deal with it with respect after they enter our program. And so that's what I'm really trying to do.
totally. How much of how much of the training, I guess, is based on personal experience?
A great deal. A great deal. It's
Yeah.
based on me studying it from both sides.
Sure.
I think, yeah, our main acronym that we use for athletes is BETA. So BETA stands for body language, eye contact, taking a breath, and articulating. And we
Mm,
like to say that if you practice BETA every time you get an interview, you will be successful. If you have good body language where you're facing the camera or you're facing the person you're talking to and you're standing up straight. If you have eye contact, which is key to having a great conversation, right, in
totally.
person. And so taking a breath, we already talked about that, and then articulating, feeling the confidence to be able to articulate your thoughts and feelings and to say things how you want to say them, just respectfully. So
Absolutely.
I think for me, seeing athletes thrive in this way is important. I think my personal experiences when I felt that I was confident and I felt comfortable with the interviewer, then I could deliver a good message. But you can't always feel confident and comfortable. And
Yeah.
sometimes, right, at the next level, you're getting interviewed after a loss, right? After you've been upset is when they really want to talk to, Caitlin Clark, maybe, right? And the other side of it. So,
Yeah.
I think for, the messaging and the purpose of what we're trying to do is just to prepare athletes to excel also in this way. And I think the other thing is it's also professional development. You
Absolutely.
also need to talk. Like I'll go into a room and I'll say, how many of us think we'll need a job outside of bouncing a basketball one day? And everybody pretty much will
I'd
raise their
hope so.
right, and I'll say, "Hey, in order to get that job, like, you're gonna have to talk to somebody." So, if
Yeah.
you don't even believe in basketball and think you're gonna get interviewed at the end of a game because 'cause you're a player of a game, fine. We can't all be that person, but you also can use this outside of the court.
You also can't
And so yeah.
rely on crossing up your employer.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, some of us have that fortune and others do
Right.
not.
I mean, yeah, I mean, in a job interview, I don't think people are gonna ask, like, "Hey, how was your ball handling today?" Like,
Right,
well,
exactly.
yeah. So, something I would love to preach is that we are more than our work. So,
Mm.
I'm curious for you, away from broadcasting, mic turns off, you get in your car to go home. What are some of the first thoughts in your head? What are some things on your playlist that you're looking forward to hearing? And what are some of your hobbies outside of work?
Oh, yeah, I love this question. One, I believe in a work-life balance. You
So
ask
you better
anybody
believe
about
it.
me, Yeah, you ask anybody about me, they'll tell you I vacation. Like, I see Jamaica
Ooh.
Beach once a year.
Oh,
I spend
jealous.
time in the warm weather with palm trees. I do not play about vacations. I take my time and I do that. I love sitting in the sun. I say, the sand is a big thing. I'm a Jersey girl, and
Of
so
course.
during the summer when I, may have a WNBA game on a Saturday, I get home on Sunday, like that next Monday, it's off and I'm at the beach. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying my time. I'm relaxing. I take my I call her my sister cousin. She's like my cousin. That's basically my sister. And
Of
so
course.
we'll go, we'll do beach trips throughout the summer, but you can definitely catch me in warm weather.
Yeah, fair beach.
Yes. Favorite beach? That's a great question. I would say Wildwood is the one
Ooh,
that I've grown up going to. Yep, down
nice.
in South Jersey. Yeah, so all the
I
way
was gonna say it's
down.
closer to
Y
you.
yep, and the boardwalk is nice. So,
It
if you
is.
don't wanna sit in the water, if it's cold or whatever, you can also go get funnel cake and ride rides. Like, it's a good time.
I have such a pet
Yeah,
peeve
tell
with
me.
the ocean. I have such a pet peeve with the ocean water. I mean, I love it, but if there's like an
Yeah.
ounce of seaweed on my leg, I will like squirm.
That's hilarious. You're like, "I don't want anything else other than
I
the
want
water."
nothing to do with it. Like if something touches my leg, like I will like I don't know, feel like something's biting me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you like the ocean then.
No, I mean I do. It's just like it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's
heavy
fine. It's
seaweed days are like, ew.
yes.
They're
No,
like,
that's what
ew.
I'm saying. A heavy
Yeah.
seaweed date is disgusting.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I also still basketball train, so I'm still very
Amazing.
hands-on on the court. So we do it outside throughout the summer. I've got a group of like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 girls now, all from like 8th grade to high school. That, some have D1 potential, some are
Love,
working towards that and are young. And so they keep me like the hooper in me shines when I see them because it's just
of
like
course.
getting back to the basics. Like, as much as I can talk about basketball on TV and podcasting and whatever, teaching the game to our young girls is just like a different type of love that I need to experience. So I think that is also a really cool balance for me. And then yeah, I would say, I don't know. I'm basic. Like I do R&B nights. Like if
Love
I'm
that.
out, like yeah, I'm a singer. Like so I can't sing for anything. But
You just said
if
you're a
I'm
singer.
yeah, no, I'm a singer in terms of, like, I sing, like, if I'm enjoying music,
Oh yeah,
I'm
you're a
singing the music.
carpooler.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Of
So,
course.
I'll go to karaoke night, but I won't sing, but I'll sing along with everybody else.
Amazing.
But yeah, I'll go to R&B nights, but I keep it chill, I keep it simple. And thankfully, honestly, Dylan, like, I really do enjoy my work. So
Sure.
even when my eyes are bloodshot and I'm exhausted and the bags are present, like, just know that when I'm working, I am still having fun and
Yeah.
feeling like I'm walking in my purpose, which keeps me uplifted. So the off season is just time to relax, but even during season, I still feel very fulfilled.
It's the best feeling.
Yes.
The best
Yes.
feeling. There is one question that I always end every interview with, and
Yeah.
that is, Ice Young, what's something you like most or admire about yourself?
Great question. Oh, it's so funny because I actually have this on my wall in my office, and it's the first word that comes to mind. And I'm actually trying to grow out of this, so this will maybe be a little bit more detailed of an answer.
Okay.
I would say it's my hustle. On
Amazing.
my wall in my office, my dad bought this for me. It's like hustle to have the bravery, confidence, charisma, and determination to persevere until you achieve the opportunities you want in life. And
Hmm.
so it's very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that's just like what I live by. I used to say in college, like, you can't complain when there's a lot on your plate when the goal is to eat. Like, you just have
That's
to go and
true.
get it. You just have to go and get it. And so, yeah, I think as a Jersey girl, hooper, like just someone who loves life, like I just am always thinking about, come on, like we got to go and get it. We got to hustle. But
But
I say that to say, in this next era of my life,
yeah.
I think I'll look to maximize the hustle, which means I don't have to
Okay.
be everywhere every day all at once. I can maximize my hustle and maximize my time, but
Yeah.
I have loved grinding in my 20s. Like
Sure.
it's been a ball.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
said you were trying to grow out of that though.
I know.
Is
I know. That's a problem. It's like I have so much fun hustling, but I think you just realize it's so funny. I sound so old. I'm only 29. Like I'm not that old, but I just think you
me
realize
I'm
as you
only
get older.
26.
Yeah, it's like as you get older, you just wanna maximize your time,
I
You
know.
just wanna maximize your and you wanna have balance. I'm all about balance. So I
Same.
think And being a hustler, that's why I say I take vacations very seriously because I take my work very seriously. Why
Of
wouldn't I
course.
take my rest seriously?
So
Yeah.
what you're articulating basically is that you're trying to maximize the hustle. So when you are doing something, you're giving it your all,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you need to be going 24/7, 365. Be very
Boom.
intentional.
Boom. Yeah, we got to enjoy life.
You
I
better
don't
believe it.
yeah, live to work, you like work to live. Which one? I know which one I would prefer to do,
Same.
right? Yeah. So
That
yeah.
same. Me too. We are on the same wavelength there without question.
Yeah.
I know some people who would say the other one, and I absolutely question their life choices. That's for another time, but
Yep. And that's for them. And
yeah,
that's for them.
right.
Who's to say that's not their purpose? Like, hey, I just know, I just know I want balance. I want a balanced plate.
Same. Well,
Yeah.
this has been so fun. It's so awesome to see how you've grown throughout your broadcasting career and how many more games you're going to do and how much you enjoy your work. It's inspiring. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing
Thank
your
you,
story.
Dylan. I appreciate you having me. So good chatting with you, my friend.
You too. You too.